All right, guys. So in studio today, we will be probably starting live studio appearances. Maybe Friday, but getting everything set up. I want to talk about today, right? You see the title is racism on the table when it comes to the Jalen Hurts criticism. You see a lot of platforms, big and small. Particular platforms that are birthed to criticize Jalen Hurts, right? They are created to criticize Jalen Hurts. They love to criticize Jalen Hurts. And it's nothing new. I heard an individual talking today like, oh, my dad gives stuff to the homeless. I'm not a racist. It's not race. A race is always on the table, bro. Now, I'm not saying everyone that criticizes Jalen Hurts is a racist. That's not what I'm saying. But it's always on the table, given our history, not only in this country, but our history in the NFL. I'm gonna try not to be too long, today, but I did get a little brief summary, that you can see right there on the screen. So it says black players were effectively banned from the NFL between 1933 and 1946 due to informal but enforced color line. But after this period, black players were often steered away from the quarterback positions, running back, and put in positions like running back, wide receiver, DB. Underlying belief in ideology, white leadership, black athleticism, QB seen as a more cerebral role for reserve for white players. We've seen that throughout history with some of the stereotypes, some of the things that they even say to now that I bring you up to current day, some of the words that they use, the key words, the phrases that they use to marginalize, to disrespect, to attack us in a more subtle way than ever before. Before they would just tell you can't do it, you're not smart enough. Now they use different words, different code words that you have to look out for. So when I see people calling people out, calling a race issue out, is it always that? No. But some of the times that it is, and I think that it always has to be on the table, given this country's, story history of racism, white supremacy, this country's brutality against people of color, but and particularly black people. Brutality in every walk of life. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talks about, you know, um, racism, white supremacy being a power system structure maintained by people that are white, right? And her book is awesome, the ISIS papers. I think everybody should, read it. So let's go even further. 1950 to the 1970s, black QBs allowed, but barriers remain. Colleges and HBCUs produce elite black quarterbacks. Grambling State under Eddie Robinson. So let's get the next slide and quickly kind of go through this to quickly kind of give you guys a quick history. So again, Grambling State, guys like Eddie Robinson and others, Marlon Briscoe was there. Documentaries out there you can see about Marlon Briscoe, the first modern black starting quarterback. He was switched to wide receiver. That was something they often would do in the past is switch these, quarterbacks to wide receivers and running back. One early example being Cordell Stewart, right? Warren Moon, who was a great quarterback, went undrafted, right? Went undrafted in 1978. One second. I'm getting a call, of course. So Warren Moon goes undrafted in 1978, goes to the CFL, then go to the NFL, having a good career now. 1980s to 1990 breakthroughs and media biases. Warren Moon becomes a Hall of Fame QB, proving black quarterbacks could succeed in a high, passing volume offense. Doug Williams, right, which my dad was a Washington Redskins fan, grew up in Washington, D.C., would always tell me about Doug Williams being the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. And then the year after, he was not even given a job if I'm not mistaken. Let's move more current, right? Um, let's go. So here are some of the key words, right? Some of the things they would call black quarterbacks: athletic, instinctive, raw, non-cerebral, run first, emotional leaders. Meanwhile, white quarterbacks were described as intelligent, polished, pocket passers, leaders. You still kind of hear some of the same things today. So when people try to immediately dismiss racism, you got to take them into the history books. You got to take them to the annals of history and show them that there's a whole history of this. Just because we're in 2025, we shouldn't take it off of the table. As a matter of fact, it should even be more on the table now because we see even more teams with black starting quarterbacks. And anyone that just dismisses it, in my opinion, is trying to hide something for sure. Right. So let's go. In the 2000s, you got guys like Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair, Dante Culpepper. I used to have a Steve McNair jersey. I'm an Eagles fan, as you can see right over there. I love Donovan McNabb. Love Michael Vick. That was a great era for the Philadelphia Eagles. Football. Even McNabb. And I tell people all the time, I interview Holly Robinson Peter for years ago. That was Rodney Pete's wife. She said, all the stuff she had to endure and listen to on WIP at that time, the Philadelphia Daily News and other radio shows, that they would continuously attack these quarterbacks. And I'm going to bring it up to the current time because if the quarterback is losing and the team is losing, I think it's fair. But Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. And every show, every week, especially some particular shows, want to continue to question his leadership. One clown said he can't throw over the middle. Well, all you got to do is a YouTube search and you can clearly see this man throwing over the middle all the time. They just keep saying stuff. They just keep attacking him and he just keeps winning. The man is like 24-3 over his last 27 games. The man took this team to the Super Bowl twice, won, outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. And all he gets is constant criticism, constant belittling. So I say, yes, racism is on the table. You can't take racism off the table. Is it the sole reason why people criticize Jalen Hurts? No, but it's definitely on the table, and I'm never going to take it off the table because there's a whole history of this, not just in this country, but in the National Football League, right? So now we see the NFL is flooded with what they call mobile quarterbacks or run first quarterback, which is a buzzword. Remember, run first. And then another thing, they said he can't read. They can't read defenses. They keep trying to say that about Jalen Hurts. He can't do this against the blitz. He can't. Now they say he can't pass against zone offenses. He can't. But he keeps winning. He keeps beating every team. He keeps outplaying every quarterback. So in my opinion, it makes them mad. It pisses them off. Because at the crust of this whole situation is still ain't no black owners. So still, some people say it's still a plantation. I'm not going that far, even though I can see some aspects, of it. Until there's black ownership, you're going to always have these issues, in my opinion. There needs to be black ownership, and not just in the NFL, in all walks. Of business, entertainment, politics. Not to say that there's none, but you don't really see them in the NFL like that. It's a rich white fraternity, and yes, some of the owners are good people. I think, that are fair and value their players of color, as some people will say. But there still needs to be a door open, a door kicked in of ownership, not just in the NBA, but in all professional sports, in my opinion. So now you see their narrative has been destroyed as of late because they used to always say that Jalen Hurts, you can't win with a running quarterback. That was another one. You can't win with a running quarterback. When Jalen Hurts and other quarterbacks, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Donovan McNabb, have made every throw, have made every read, have read every defense, have read every coverage, but they continue to throw these stereotypes. They continue to attack these men in Philadelphia, which my dad used to always tell me, is one of the most racist cities, one of the most racist medias. And now I see it as an adult. I see it because I'm always putting it on the table, bro. And I'm willing to have this conversation with anyone who wants to have this conversation. Yes, it's on the table. Yes, it's the fucking real thing. So let's go. Red, peace, peace. I mean, Real TV, peace, peace. A lot of people won't have this conversation because they just won't have it. But I'm always going to have this conversation. I'm always going to talk about it because I think that it's relevant. And I already had this slide up already. Or did I miss it? Right. All right. So again, beware of the buzzwords. I'm not going to be long because I got stuff to do, but beware of the different buzzwords. Beware of the different things that they say when it comes to black quarterbacks, in particular, Jalen Hurts. So when you see the shows out there that they'll bring guests on and they will have a leading form of questions where they will say, well, what do you think? And how come this offense can't do this? And how come this passing offense and the passing offense? They keep winning. I coach football. I've played football. The objective is just to win the football game, no matter how it looks. It doesn't matter the stats. It doesn't matter how much. I mean, of course, you want all that stuff. But if you come away with the W, you come away with the win, that is truly all that matters, in my opinion, and in coach's opinion, in the Philadelphia Eagles, opinion. So, yes, some of these guys have a hard time seeing black leadership. They have a hard time not just seeing black leadership, but flawless black leadership. Like in their mind, they think who do you think he is, right? Then again, damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you're too loud, if you're too what they say emotional, then they say, oh, he's unhinged. But if you're quiet and reserved like Jalen Hurts and you just lead fiercely, they say you're stoic, and the guys don't like it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, and I think most of the players on the Philadelphia Eagles have committed themselves to just winning football. That's it. That's all. And a lot of people have a hard time just accepting it and saying, look, fine. All right. We might not pass for 250 yards every game. It may be stagnant, but any team you bring in, we keep beating them all week. People kept talking about the Lions, and you can't win this way. You got to score more points with the Lions. Well, we scored 16 points to beat the Lions because defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. And just because you got to be careful with people who just put a microphone in front of their hand and they daddy got a little bit of money. So they got a little channel, and now they think they got power. They don't know sports. They don't know football. They don't know history. They don't. Be careful, and be careful that the narratives that are painted by radio stations and certain YouTube channels. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get into this space, because I feel like voices like me and Sam Ann is needed in this space, because certain content creators won't go there for, because I get it. Some people don't want to go delve into that because it's a lot of red tape. I'm going knee deep in that shit. I'm going knee deep. I'm jumping in like it's a swimming pool because I understand it and I see it and I know it. And I know it to my core. And I got a whole history, right, that I can point to and say, okay, this is examples of this. This is examples of that. This is examples of this. And look, when he said this about this person and this person, so what's really going on in their mind? Is it inferiority? It might be penis envy for some of these dudes. Some of it may be jealousy. It's a lot of things going on. If you really dig into with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I prefer everybody go read that book. Thank you, Real TV. You would know that a lot of this stuff is subconscious. Thank you. I appreciate it. You would see that a lot of this stuff is subconscious in the mind of certain people, where they don't know why they're doing it. They don't know why this shit is coming out. They don't know why they hate. They don't know why they have a mechanism of racism, but it's just embedded in them. And a lot of these people probably don't know why. Like, I don't know why. Like, what's going on? And we all have stereotypes about other races and things like that. We all have it. Real TV puts, glad you covered it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And when you hear people immediately try to dismiss it and start talking about what their daddy did for a couple of kids in the city, you know they're out of touch with reality. I heard this guy say, I'm not gonna mention the guy's name. I think he's a clown, right? But I heard somebody, he immediately tried to, and then they employ people on their platforms that have a history of making racist comments, sexist comments. So when you got people like that, you really can't take them seriously, right? You can't. And they will never see a monkey and never look a lion in the face. So they would never go face to face with a guy like me, a guy like Sam Ant, or a guy like other people, because we would intellectually and physically destroy them if need be. So they would never do it. They would hide behind, mods and different things. I mean, look at some of these channels, like some of the stuff that they continuously, like the stuff they keep posting every day, it's a continuous attack against a team that's 8-2, a man that just won a Super Bowl MVP, a man that just, right, took his team to 2 Super Bowls and won like 24 out of 27 games. What the fuck are we criticizing? But then you got somebody like Ocho who will come up and say, look, I can see what route AJ's running, but they don't cover that. They only cover anything that's an attack on Jalen Hurts. Think about it. Anything that's an attack on a black leader, they're going to cover it. It got to be called out. Now, this might not get 100,000 views, but over time, a video like this is going to grow because it's relevant and it's the truth. It's relevant and it's the truth. And anybody wants to debate me, anybody wants to talk to me about it face to face on the show, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it because, my dad's telling about this stuff coming up and I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, okay. Not that I didn't believe him, but let's go back and look at some of the daily news articles about Donovan McNabb. Go look at some of the people who hated Michael Vick for killing some stinking ass dogs, for fighting some stinking ass dogs. When they killing fucking all types of animals every day, which way, hunters putting shit on their wall, he's fighting dogs and shit, and they still crucify Michael Vick to this day. Now, I got a dog, I got 2 dogs, I love dogs, but at the end of the day, they fucking dogs. Look at all the stuff that Steve McNair had to deal with. Rodney Peete, Randall Cunningham, all the criticism that he had to endure. Lamar Jackson, Dante Culpepper, every black quarterback in the NFL, and even players, because you got even Eric Dickerson talking about the shit. Eric Dickerson was talking about it. There's a whole history. So I'm never taking that. So when somebody says racism, I don't take it off the table. I say, okay, maybe it's that shit. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to immediately take it off the table. What's up? And it's like the criticism, yes, is Jalen Hurts subjected to criticism? Absolutely. Every player is. But it goes too far and beyond, in my opinion, way too far and beyond, to the point where it's like, all right, this is something deeper than just football. This is getting deeper than just football. This is, something subconscious. Like, you don't really rock with black people like that. You don't really like black people. You think black people's inferior, don't you? Don't you? You don't like the way he walk. You don't like the way he talk. You don't like the way he lead. Because I watch people. I watch them and I watch. And I'm a good observer. And I watch these guys and how they continue to attack. Right? Can't take it off the table when it's at the table. Oh my God, that's amazing. Real talk. Real talk. I watch these guys and I see how they ask their questions, how they steer their narratives, the little cold words that they say. See, they think that they were dumb. They think that they're more intelligent. But we wrote intelligent. We created intelligence. What are you talking about? You can't get shit over on us. You think you're saying something slick and using a different type of word. We invented the dictionary. What you talking about? We invented those words. We mastered that shit. What are you talking about? You even got people talking about putting Tanner McKeon, an unproven backup quarterback. What was he, like a 5th string? You got people talking about putting him in. Why? Because he's white. And they want that quintessential white, lily white, blonde hair, 6'5", blue-eyed quarterback. And that's disappearing in the NFL, right? And they can't stand it because they don't appreciate, they don't like black leadership. All this country did has killed black leadership. Look at the history. They have murdered black leadership. They don't like leadership to this day in other African countries. Look at Burkina Faso. Somebody want to take control of their own country and have their own self-determination. People want them dead. They want to control. So miss me with all that bullshit. Y'all got the right one. Can't take it off the table. We can't take race off the table because it's at the table. Miss me with all that. Y'all got the right one. Y'all got the right one. We're going to talk about it. This is the second time I had to do a video like this because I'm like, damn, they 8-2. They have the best record in the NFL, right? And people keep talking about this and that and this and that. Like, really, like, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. But that's my thoughts, man. I had to get it out real quick. And when these topics are needed, I will definitely do them again. And yeah, when these topics needed, I'll do them. If nobody else is doing them, I'll do them. I'll do them. I'm going to do them. Right? I'll talk about them. I'll take the heat. I'll take the fire. I'll take it. I'll confront these dudes. Right? Like continuously attacking. This is, man, all he does is win, bro. I could see if he was shit and he wasn't winning no games and the Eagles was 2-8. Then there's nothing I can really say. I will still keep it on the table, but it's nothing I can really say. They are winning games at a historic rate. This is the greatest era of Eagles football, and they don't like how it looks. Oh my God. Y'all don't like how it looks. And then when he has a great game or two, I mean, he can't pass, he can't read defenses, but the number 2 defense, he had a perfect passer rating. And then they start blaming other people or giving credit to other people. Oh, well, he got this receiver, or like, which one is it? Can he read it? Can he not? Then they'll say, well, oh, I don't know if this is sustainable. How long he's going to keep this up? Like, y'all some bitches, man. I wish I had another intellectual word. Y'all some bitches. Y'all couldn't even lift a finger to do half of what this man did. And you got all the criticism in the world. All the criticism in the world, but you can't do nothing that this man could do. Let's see you out there throwing a football. Let's see you trying to read a defense. But you got all the criticism over a man that's doing it at a high level, winning at a high level. All the criticism in the world. The fattest, stinkiest, smelliest dude sitting in California somewhere talking about how somebody's not elite. What are you? Like, are we serious? We actually take these dudes serious? People that have been cut from the NFL? Like what are we doing? Only QB don't have to be perfect every week. He has to be perfect every week. I saw Patrick Mahomes missing throws. It's fucking 50-mile-an-hour wind damn near. How do I know? Because I coached a football game in the wind that same day when they played the Lions. It was like, that shit almost blew me over. I'm like 280. And they constantly criticize. I'm watching cute quarterbacks all week, missing passes. Every game, I'm watching people, receivers missing catches. As soon as Jalen does, he got to be perfect every week. Every week. If you don't say enough, then it's, they don't like him. Ain't nobody gonna like everybody. You got a job. We all got jobs. I don't like everybody in that motherfucker. You probably don't like your boss. Some people don't even like your wife, your girl. You know? No, it's not a cop-out. Because if you was listening to what I'm saying, if you listen to what I said, it's on the table. Because like my man said, it set the table. Not everybody, just because they're black, of course it's not racism. It could just be hate. A guy like Cam Newton, it could just be hate. I'm talking about when you see a white man does it that won't have a fucking ounce of talent in his body, and his narrative is every time he got something to say. That's what I'm talking about. Just because some black man, that's like a black fucking slave telling on another slave. I don't give a shit. I don't care about that. I'm talking about when white guys do it, when white commentators do it. Yes, racism. I'm not saying everyone that they're racist, but some of them are. That's what I'm saying. If you listen, it's not a fucking cop-out. It's not a cop-out. Because at the end of the day, all he does is win. What are we criticizing? What the fuck are we criticizing? Well, all this man does is win. Because he ain't do a lot of passing yards? Because what? Because he won the Super Bowl MVP. He been to the Super Bowl twice. His team is 8-2, but besides having the toughest schedule in the NFL, playing against tough defenses and horrible weather, where's the criticism for golf? So what are we talking about? This prolific pass offense of the Detroit couldn't do anything. So when you try to come in my comment section, make sure you have your fucking ducks in a row. Because yes, I'm not saying everybody is, but some are. And I'm calling them motherfuckers out that are. Because I see them. You feel me? Cam and Steve have Stockholm syndrome. They got a script. They follow it. Don't forget the NFL is a corporation. Jalen was protect not to fail, succeed. Yeah, good point. They get stuff. People come in and say, "Oh, you talk about this." You think they write their own shit? You got to talk about this. This gets a lot of clicks. Let's talk about this. Are they talking about this on the internet? Let's talk about this. They don't have their own mind. They work for Disney. Remember that. They sitting down, somebody's giving them shit to say on the paper, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Ain't a cop-out. It's the truth. This NFL was built on racism. This country was built on racism. We can't take that shit off the table. Stop it. Stop that bullshit. Now, you may be white and I don't care. I'm calling like I see it. And I might not be talking about you, the damn sports show in particular, but there are some out there. That's all I'm saying. There's some, and I'm going to keep it on the table. Put it on the table. We're not taking it off the fucking table. And don't give me an example of somebody wearing a jersey, somebody helping the poor. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Nothing. Nothing. Maybe Skip ain't one of them. Again, I'm calling out the ones that are. And I don't think Skip is one of them. I think he's fair. But I see people that I can call out by name, by show, that every single day, every single week, they write a narrative. Every time. Every freaking time. You feel what I'm saying? So don't try to, play this game with me that, it's a cop-out. Ain't no fucking cop-out. It's the truth. And I look at anybody with one eye that try to take it off the table. I look at anybody out of one eye that try to take it off the table. What are you criticizing this man about? At the end of the day, it's about winning. You want 400 yards in a loss? You want to go back to the blackout days where you would turn on the TV and they might not even play because nobody's in the stadium? You want to go back to that? I'm riding with Jalen Hurts. I feel like Jalen's going to get it done against anybody in any circumstance. I'm riding with him. Simple as that. If Lamar won the chip, they would hail to him too, for sure. As soon as the man win, they take away from, he got these people around him. Everybody got people around him. As soon as he wins. I watched this man win the Super Bowl and be the Super Bowl MVP, and 3 weeks later, shows started talking about, is this just sustainable? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We got the W at the end of the game. That's all you should give a fuck about is the W. Immediately people go to how I looked, how many pass yards he has, what's his completion percentage. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Because they got nothing else to go to. They got nothing else to go to. The man just passed the 300 something, almost 400 yards. The man put up 38 points. He played against the top defense in the NFC, the Packers. He did enough to win. He played against what they said was a juggernaut in the Lions, did enough to win. It didn't look pretty, but he did enough. We're going to do it again with the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to do enough. As long as we got, it could be 2-3. I won't give a fuck as long as we win. I won't. But then you have people say, well, what's going on? What are we going to do? What's the problem? There ain't no problem. They winning. There ain't no problem. They're winning. But I'm going to leave it at that, y'all. I got shit to do. I appreciate the people that's in here. You know, again, I look at anybody out of one eye when they start trying to take this shit off the table. If it's not true, it's not true. But like they say, right? What's the thing? If I throw a rock into a pack of dogs, the only one that's going to holler is the one that got hit. So if you feeling the type of way, maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one. Maybe you got shit going on subconsciously you don't know. Maybe it's not you, but it's damn sure not a cop-out. It's the 100% truth. And there's not only a whole history of a country of racism, but sports of racism, commentators, media personalities that practice prejudices, racism, and stereotype every week, even now. Can't take it off the table. Like my man said, I'll give credit to him. We can't take it off the table because it set the table. It's your boy. Yep, no team in the NFL has ever won a Super Bowl without a talented roster. Jalen isn't any different, absolutely. But they will say, oh, he had a super team. But then they picked us to lose against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, which one is it, guys? Which one is it? As soon as he started lighting up, well, he got A.J. Brown and this person. But when he's not lighting it up, it's his fault and A.J. can't get open and Saquon regressed and the offense. Like, yo, this team is going to win another Super Bowl. And I was so glad when Jalen won a Super Bowl because people were saying that our so-called running quarterback couldn't win a Super Bowl. People swore to it. And they said, oh, how is this going to last? If they can't, they don't play better. Then when he got into the biggest games, he outplayed your best quarterback. And I feel like the Rams are the second best team. And I feel like if we play them again, we're going to fucking destroy them. That's how I feel. I appreciate y'all. Leave a comment and share the video for your boy. I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.